This will be a mini-doc regarding Akhenaten and the prominence of the sun god Aten in Egyptian art and architecture. Before the reign of Akhenaten and the prominence of the sun god Aten was a time when many people think of ancient Egypt. There were the great pyramids of the Old Kingdom, as well as the Great Sphinx. There were also the large statues which rose to prominence in the Middle Kingdom. Of course, nobody could challenge the architectural styles of the Sphinx and the Great Pyramids. They were when pharaohs were at the height of their power. Nothing could challenge them except for, of course, the disdain of the gods. And nobody can forget the use of the Middle Kingdom's great statues, including that feature to the right. They feature an ideal body type. They're large, they're strong, they're symmetrical, and besides some time-caused damage, they're absolutely perfect in their portrayal of rulers. The rulers have no faults, no issues, no flaws. It wouldn't be until Akhenaten, however, when that would change.
As said by Mark Milmore in the article, Akhenaten. When Akhenaten came into power, the order of the new kingdom was greatly disrupted. Akhenaten eliminated worship of most gods and replaced Amun, the state god, with Aten as the new state god. On top of that, he made Amarna, a new city, the capital of Egypt. Akhenaten made himself unpopular by claiming unprecedented status, which means only he could worship Aten, while everyone else worshipped him. The Egyptians did not like this Atenistic system of belief because it made Aten seem aloof and impersonal, and it lacked well-developed mythology and afterlife.
The author of the article, Literature and Art During the Reform of Akhenaten, states, the Amarnian period is considered the time of Egypt's first monotheism in the history of religions, and it is a special time in the evolution of ancient Egyptian society. The pharaoh introduces new trends asking for lack of idealization. His physical deformities turned into a new form of beauty. There are anatomic details which had never been represented in art before. Moreover, the private life of the royal family is seen in art. The expression of feelings between members, the dynamics of social status, the realism of representation, and the feeling of space are features which characterize the different styles of art from traditional Egyptian art. While Egyptian society was dramatically transformed under the rule of Akhenaten because of his reform of the Egyptian religion, this profound impact was also shown through the art of this time period. Many art pieces were made of Akhenaten. He saw art as one of the most important ways to prove his power, and his roles in the societies were exaggerated. In the Amarna period, artworks of King Akhenaten were highlighted by an out-of-the-ordinary appearance, which distinguished himself from others who were captured in Egyptian art. Meanwhile, Aten, the sun god, was viewed as the god of all people, not only the Egyptians. As a result, he became increasingly apparent in art as Aten was becoming a more universal figure in society. Jenny Hill, the author of The Aten, explains only Akhenaten and his family could connect with the god. This art piece is showing Aten, Akhenaten, Nefertiti, and their daughter in limestone and sunk relief. Specifically, Akhenaten and his queen Nefertiti worshipping the Aten, with the king wearing a white crown of Upper Egypt, holding aloft his offering of 2 libation jars to the sun, represented as a sphere, and long rays ending in hands. One of Aten's hands is offering Ankh, which is life, to the king's nose. Behind the king is a much smaller queen and daughter. The symbol for Aten is no more than an elaborated hieroglyph in which the old sign for sunshine, a disk with 3 short rays, has become a disk having the encircling uraeus of kingship with an ankh around its neck and a dozen or more long rays, each ending in a hand. The hands may hold the ankh, sign of life, to the nostrils of the king and queen, as illustrated here, but to no one else. Many questions still remain unanswered, such as why did Akhenaten portray himself this way? It looks like Akhenaten saw himself closer to Aten, and only he was able to reach Aten. All others must go to Akhenaten.
Out of all the pharaohs in Egypt's history, Akhenaten stood out from the rest, despite having a relatively short reign lasting 17 years. Although most of the evidence of his reign was wiped out after his death, archaeologists and historians were able to piece together the significance of his reign There were changes in Egyptian art that occurred during his reign. The Ancient History Encyclopedia describes the impact of Akhenaten and Aten by claiming that Egyptian art underwent a monumental transformation, with centuries of rigid convention abandoned in favor of a new, highly stylized artistic approach imbued with divine meaning.